I always believed my family told me everything, until one old conversation made me realize I had been lied to for years. Growing up, my world felt simple, clear. There were no unanswered questions, no missing pieces, nothing that made me doubt the story I had been told about my life. My family was open, or at least that's how it felt. If I asked something, I got an answer. If something didn't make sense, someone explained it. And because of that, I never had a reason to look deeper. I never questioned the details. I never thought there was anything more beneath the surface. Why would I? When everything feels complete, you don't search for what's missing. You accept it as truth. That's how I lived for years, trusting every explanation, every memory, every version of events that was given to me, until one day something small disrupted that certainty. It wasn't dramatic, not at first, just an old conversation I wasn't supposed to hear, voices from another room, familiar ones, calm, casual, the kind of conversation that doesn't sound important until you actually listen. I wasn't trying to overhear anything. I had just walked past and caught a few words, my name, a date, a detail that felt slightly wrong. I paused without meaning to, not because I expected anything, but because something about the way they said it didn't match what I knew. At first I thought I misunderstood, that I had missed context, but then they said it again, clearer this time, and that's when the first crack appeared, because what I was hearing didn't align with the story I had always believed. It wasn't completely different. That's what made it confusing. It was close enough to sound real, but off enough to feel wrong. I stayed still, listening longer than I should have, and with every sentence that feeling grew. Not panic, not fear, just a quiet realization forming slowly in the back of my mind. Something wasn't right. I stepped away before they could notice me, trying to convince myself it didn't mean anything, that there was an explanation, that I just didn't understand the full picture. But the thought stayed, and once it was there, it didn't leave. After that moment, everything started feeling different, not visibly, not in a way anyone else would notice, but internally something had shifted. I started replaying what I had heard over and over again, comparing it to what I had always been told, looking for a way to make it match, but it didn't. The more I thought about it, the more gaps I started seeing, small inconsistencies I had never questioned before, details that didn't fully connect but had never seemed important enough to doubt. Until now, I began paying attention, quietly, listening more carefully during conversations, watching reactions when certain topics came up, and slowly more pieces started revealing themselves, not directly, not in a way anyone admitted, but in slips, small differences in how things were explained, changes in tone, avoided questions, and with each one, the same realization grew stronger. This wasn't confusion. This wasn't memory failing. This was something being hidden, something that had been controlled carefully enough that I never saw it. Until now. The hardest part wasn't discovering the truth. It was understanding what it meant, because this wasn't about one lie. It was about years of trust built on something incomplete, something altered just enough to shape how I saw everything. I thought back to moments from my childhood, conversations that felt normal at the time, answers I had accepted without question, and now they felt different, like I had only been given part of the story, just enough to keep things simple, just enough to keep me from asking more. I didn't confront anyone right away. I couldn't, because I didn't know how to ask a question when I didn't even know the full truth yet. But one thing was clear, the version of my life I had always believed in wasn't the full one. And once you realize that, everything changes. Not just how you see the past, but how you see the people who shaped it. And as I sat there thinking about everything I had trusted without doubt, one thought stayed with me. They hadn't just hidden the truth from me. They had decided which version of it I was allowed to know.